תסתכלי עכשיו, דור. Okay. So let's see if we see ourselves. Let's have a look. Yes, we're on Facebook. We can start. So we have another minute, which is good. And we are ready to roll. So Stephen, Max Stern, are you ready?
I am ready.
You've got Mel. Okay, so we start with our famous jingle.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
Chair, grab a seat, oh, sweep you off your feet. We move, we groove, you got Mel. Ease your legs, rest a while, all you gotta do is smile. We're swell, can't you tell, you got Mel. When the show begins, you better hold on tight, or before you know it, you'll be high as a kite. Take a break, settle down, we're the only show in town. It's our own, don't you know, you got Mel. Give it up, don't think twice, we're a hurricane on ice. What the hell, give it yell, ring the bell, show and tell. Mademoiselle, give it smell, you got Mel. You got Mel.
Okay. So Stephen, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm happy to say, despite the circumstances, feeling a lot better lately, which is good.
Okay, just let me check whether we're on Facebook. We should be.
Your volume dropped a little.
Let's see, just let me make sure. We can see? We're on? Yeah, we're on. So Stephen, I always begin the show with a question. What is your favorite Beatles tune?
Wow. You know, that's a hard one.
I know. You just pick one, you know, you can bullshit me.
No. I would say genuinely, this is one of my favorite songs. Is I Dig a Pony.
Can you sing a few bars?
I dig a pony, and you can celebrate anything you are. Oh, you can celebrate anything you are. I don't know if that's the right words right there, but that's.
No, but I mean it's.
Oh, but the break of it, which is like, and everything you know to do, because boom, 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 boom. Great song.
Listen, you're the only person I know who thinks that I Dig a Pony is the best Beatles song. So congratulations. Stephen, so usually I ask people to describe their life in 1 minute, but you have two lives. You have your life before and your life after. So what was your life like before?
So before was there's certain similarities, like moving around this planet of ours. So before I moved around this planet a lot, just as a brief history, I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa. And then
you have to speak up, Stephen.
I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa. And soon after I was born, we moved to Israel, somewhere in 1971. And then in 1973, I think it was, we came to Israel around then. And then after the Yom Kippur War, around just the beginning of 76, we moved to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And so...
Oshkosh Bagosh.
Absolutely. And except for the Golan Heights, which I guess we were able to go see in the mid 70s or later 70s, I'd never seen snow before. So it was very interesting to show up in Oshkosh in the mid 70s from Israel, and we arrived in the winter, and it was a story in and of itself. And from Oshkosh, after a good 7-8 years, we moved to Long Island. And so I grew up a little bit more in the New York area, went to school there, traveled around the United States for work for several years, and then ended up in New Orleans and then from New Orleans to Virginia, to Kansas, back to Virginia, and then came back to Israel in 2006.
What brought
And,
you back to Israel in 2006?
well, I married an Israeli, and she wanted to come back, and I was always willing to try to come to this country and check it out. And I've been here many times through my childhood and lots of family. So we came back here with two kids at the time, two little girls who have grown up tremendously in the last, I guess, 14 years. And we came back to Israel, and then I was busy consulting and working with various telecommunications platforms between Israel, the United States, North America, Canada, which you're familiar with. And then that was all kind of pre.
You had also this amazing startup that didn't
Yeah,
fly.
I had this dream to get into the music industry from a financial point of view, which isn't quite one of the smarter things, but I guess any industry is that way.
No, but I mean, most startups fail, and yours was a gallant and valiant attempt.
Well, I failed well, but gracefully.
But you set up a ulpan, a recording studio that had an auditorium and room for the audience.
It was designed to rehearse, record, and distribute instantly. This is all, I guess, around the time when the internet was just starting to become very popular, with bands starting to put stuff out there. But the very early stages, and it's always been like, hey, send your music, share with your fans, engage with your fans, and everything. It was just a little too early from the internet messaging point of view for clients. But it was really wonderful to kind of get
the vibe. As somebody who recorded there, the vibe was outstanding, and it was international, and it didn't fly. And this brings us to the day that it changed your life. Do you remember the date?
Yeah, it's one of those dates. There's many life-changing events, but this one is certainly.
I'm being facetious. I know that you remember.
Well, sometimes I wonder. It's like, is it all a dream? It was November 27th, 2014. The actual beginning of that was the 14th of November, when I actually was admitted to the hospital. I think it was the 14th or the 17th. It must have been the 17th. Sorry, it was 10 days. It was just very surreal. I went to my doctor coming back from a trip to Germany for business. Coughing a bit. It's winter time, October, cold. Went to do a lung X-ray, thinking maybe you've got like a start of a respiratory infection, and was immediately told by the guy at the X-ray systems to go to my doctor. And she looks at it and she goes, "You need to go to the hospital." And I went to the hospital, and I had to do X-rays again because I didn't have my X-rays with me, so always bring them. And what happened was they admitted me, and it took them about 10 days, but they told me essentially that you have a lung cancer that has spread to multiple sites, and it's quite advanced. And the best thing we can hopefully do is help prolong your life, and treatments as best as we can, but it's definitely nothing we can cure or get rid of.
So you were supposed to die. You were given a death sentence on the spot.
It can be. It's like any cancer. It's a misunderstood cancer in many respects. But yeah, when you have a stage 4 cancer of any kind, advanced stage 4, because there's different stagings within stages. But when you have what they call, I guess, stage 4B, which is we can't operate, it's metastasized to multiple sites, we can't radiate, we just can't get rid of it. Usually at that point, when it's gone to the various organs and starts going into your eyes and your brain and things like that, it's a very bad situation. For me, it's a unique situation, and I'm lucky and happy to say that we're going on 6 years this November. It's quite an interesting story. Not the only one out there with an advanced cancer that is around, because the treatments are certainly getting better for a small percentage of people who are living longer, and they're trying to get it to a chronic stage, if you will, but it never is, not now. So yeah, that's what I was told, and they don't really tell you. No doctor's going to say you have X amount of time to live. I mean, they'll tell you, some doctors.
Yeah, but Stephen, you have the internet for that.
Yeah, I was kind of.
What did the internet tell you?
The internet's very good at telling you all sorts of things, and certainly it told me that in general, if you have what they call NSCLC level 4 or stage 4, typically the average survival rate 6 months or so, which is true, because usually they only diagnose it when it's in late stages. If it hits people in their elder years, it can be incredibly quick. Some people are told, and within 3 months, that's it. So it's very frightening. You're just sitting in front of the doctor, and your entire world flips inside out, and you're in this echo chamber. Just a million things start going through your head, and you're like, wow. Or unconscious of the fact that there's death. But to be told you have something crawling and growing in your body that they can't stop, and it's just one of those things they don't know, is frightening. It's scary. It brings up all sorts of crazy emotions. And then it has, of course, the impacts on the family as it unfolds over the next days and weeks, and all the tests and things that follow. I mean, you become in a completely different world. That's your new reality in a way. And so that's what I had to face, and I face it every day still. Some days more graciously than others, some months more graciously than others, and constant battle like life itself. It's just this one extra thing that doesn't go away. And I'm fortunate because of the treatments that I have available to me. More immunotherapy than traditional chemotherapy at this stage, which is in line as far as treatments go. There's a whole staging way, and of course there's protocols that they have for different stages and impacts of the cancer. But that's what I have. I have a stage 4 cancer. It's essentially in both my lungs, in the linings of my lungs, in my lymph system. It's in my spine. Has been in various locations. I think there was some pressure building on the heart. That's gone. Adrenal glands, and then kidneys and liver have some minor things that they've seen, but still continue to remain clear. It did go to my brain. I've had a radiation therapy to my brain several years ago, which is a process in and of itself. Once it goes to your central nervous system from any cancer, they get very concerned. Fortunately, it was knocked out. It unfortunately took out part of my right eye vision. It ate some of the nerve, and in my left eye, I still have a tumor that's inactive and liquid accumulating. So it's a never-ending balance. But fortunately, I was able to get the tumors out of the brain, controlled in the eyes, and every 3 months or so, I have more tests in the eyes and more tests with the brain and more tests with the body. And outside of that, try to live life and enjoy what's more important, which is.
So we're going to talk about that in a moment. But you're a kind of a poster boy for medical miracles, or if you're a believer, religious miracles. Tell me what kind of exercise you do these days.
Well.
Very briefly.
Sure, I'll be brief. Lately, I've been doing a good amount of walking. Every day I try. It's getting a little hot and humid, but early in the morning.
How many steps?
Anywhere between 7,000 to 9,000 steps, and 95% of it considered high activity, which is kind of cardio.
You climb a few hundred stairs a day? You climb a few hundred stairs a day?
I guess I go up and down the hill outside my house in the area. It's its own walking area. I don't need to go anywhere else. And then again, what my real thing over my lifetime has been swimming. And I used to do a lot of it, and then I stopped for a while. I've gone through phases, but recently I rediscovered my connection to water, to swimming, to the soul easing, and certainly the calming meditative state that it brings. So I've been swimming lately. Today I swam about an hour and 15 minutes, uh, pretty much about 3 kilometers or so.
My
Um,
hero, you're like you're a poster boy.
I'm
Um,
trying, I believe in this integrated approach, but the integration changes over time. We
yeah.
change, our bodies change, our minds change. So there's
So,
always
and
something.
I've seen you during these almost 6 years under worse conditions where you could barely walk, and you still insisted on taking a taxi to Shankar College and sharing with my students who all cried to hear your story.
No, those
And
wonderful opportunities for sure. Thank you.
well, for also for my students, for sure, to whip some understanding into them that the record only turns once, and you get one sivu on this miraculous earth. So if we're talking about records and revolutions, let's talk about fulfilling your lifelong dream and how that happened.
Um, well, I guess it started when I decided to open the studio. That's kind of the start of it because my lifelong dream is always to be involved in music a little more professionally than, let's say, just as a hobby. Um, and after that, that kind of just pushed me uh, towards music some more. Um, and then the music kind of faded away a bit with the cancer and with some depression and with all of that. And it came back. It comes and goes over the years. It does, even weeks, days.
How do you get this thing about America's Got Talent? Where did you get that? We call it a juke in Hebrew, that bug. How did that find its way into your
I,
mind?
I was, there was a period when I was lying in bed when I was on one type of medication, which at first was helping, an immunotherapy drug, which does some stuff to your body and affects the cancer's ability to grow. And it was good for about 7, 8 months, but around 7 months, it started having some really bad side effects, knocked me out a tremendous amount, and I found myself in bed for a period of time, more so than not being in bed, very weak. And that's when I just took my phone and I started watching random crap that came along to keep myself distracted or entertained. And then these little snippets of America's Got Talent stuff comes up.
You saw a shitty singer, and you said, "Oh, I can do better than that."
No, yeah. I didn't say I could do better than that. I just said I can do that. I'd like to do that. I've always wanted to just get on stage, and I have an idea for a competition that's like, hey, let's give everybody the ability to, here's the same song and everybody go produce it with their bands and let's see who makes the best version of it.
That's another story. That's another story.
Right. But
So how did you fly to New York with your zillion drugs?
Basically what I did is I said, okay, I'm going to go do this. I started getting better because I did switch to a new medicine, which I have been on for over 4 years now, twice a day. And it's still...
We're drinking to that.
Thank you. I'll drink to that too. It's interesting because I went to see my oncologist about a month and a half ago, another meeting coming up in a month and a half. And I walked in and he goes, well, you're kind of a miracle in that sense. He goes, how long have you been taking this stuff? 2 years, 2.5 years? I was like, no, 4 years. He goes, oh, really? 4 years?
Stephen, I have to have him on the show. I have to bring your doctors. What did you do to this guy? He's like bionic Steve Stern.
Yeah, I've had
exercises 4 bloody hours a day.
I've always wanted to ask. It's close, not 4 yet, but yeah, 2.
Stephen, let's get back to the point here. So,
right. So
Michigan you gets on a plane.
Right. I take all the medicines I need. I made sure I had all the letters because you need letters and documents and everything I need. I spoke to friends in New York because I have 2 very close, many close friends there, but 2 of them who babysat me a bit. And I got on a plane and flew through Frankfurt. I must say I wasn't feeling so wonderful on that flight. I did it several more times on through New York to Miami, but I went to New York. It was wintertime, as far as I remember. And I just went to the hotel in Times Square and had lots of people visiting me, friends, family. And in between that, went to America's Got Talent and tried out with my acoustic guitar, played Waiting in Vain. And then they asked me to play if I had anything else. And I said, sure. I played an original version of something I wrote. And that was it. They video, you go away, and then months later, when they've moved on, you finally get an email that says, "Well, it was nice to have you, but we're not moving forward." But
was it a nice email? Because these Americans,
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, it was courteous. You don't expect it. It's a factory in some respects, so they've got to churn stuff through. But it was an amazing experience when I went there. Just cold outside and just hundreds, I would say thousands of people showing up for all the different stuff, the music, the acting, the clowns, the this, the that, just all sorts of people from all over the place. Quite exciting. And you walk by the bathrooms and you hear people, doing the voice stuff as you know. So I went there and I tried it. And I said, this is a motivating experience. Go out there and try to live every moment you can. And behind me, there's life is good, but sometimes there's a disconnect between knowing it is and feeling that it is. And certainly at that point, I was feeling this is good. It's experience. It's grabbing things you want to do and just diving into them as best as you can with the resources you have. Friends.
So after doing this Michigan thing, you did something even more Michigan.
Yeah. One of my friends heard one of the songs that I'd written, because I enjoy writing songs as a hobby. It's always been fun. As you know, because I know you're a musician as well, a very good one. And I shared a song with him, and it's a song that has more of a reggae beat and back tone. And he said, "What do you want to do with this?" And he's in the industry, and at the time was working and still does work with a guy I'm also close with after, Julius Jr. Marvin, who was one of the original guitarists with Bob Marley. And he was working with him at the time. He said, "Hey, check this out." And the next thing I know is, they want to maybe record it as a test to work in the studio down in Miami that they.
Who? The Wailers?
The Wailers, because he was working with the Wailers. This is back in 2017. They had just started touring again, a whole new movement. And one of the son of the bassist of the Wailers, Ashton Barrett Jr., has a studio in Florida, which has a lot of the stuff that they used to have in Jamaica. Not all of it, but certainly some of the equipment and other equipment they've got over the years, and lots of pictures of Bob Marley and all sorts of stuff lying around. Interesting place. And I again was like, if this is happening, could I maybe join? And the thing is with that, there was maybe a chance that Junior was going to join me to play at America's Got Talent, the Waiting in Vain song, which he actually wrote and played with Bob Marley. It didn't happen, but that's it. I said, if I can get on a plane and come to Miami, will you take me? Can I watch? And so the answer was yes, about a week before it was finalized. And that's it. I was like, okay, I'm jumping on a plane and going to Miami, regardless of how I feel.
And the Wailers recorded your song.
Yeah, what ended up happening is there's all sorts of ways in studios, but it was a studio recording. We went in, I did I showed them the song generally. I then did the underscoring guitar track, the lead track that they work off of. And from there, the keyboardist, the drummer, the bassist, the guitarist all started layering in their various pieces of the song. And then it was time to sing it. And I wasn't expecting this, but I actually ended up singing it. I wasn't supposed to, I don't think. I think they were going to have one of their singers work on it, but they're like, this is great. Yeah, we think you can do this. So go ahead. And I was like, this is what a compliment to be able to walk in there and just have this opportunity and have them turn to me and say, you can do this. So I did. I went outside, then came back and went into the singing booth and did it, take one. And then they said, okay, now just do this part again so we can, overlap it, make it a little more stereo. And that was it. They recorded it, mixed it down, and that was the whole experience, starting with the ability to record a song with them, which has always been a dream, to just record some of my own music. I'd still like to play in a band one day, and if the energies are right and I can get it together, I certainly will try that. So I've been playing a little bit more lately and trying to get back into that. But yeah, we recorded a song I wrote called Ja Light. I wrote it on the bass probably back in the New Orleans days of grad school in 93, 94. And it just always stuck with me. And finally I figured out some words and all of that stuff. And
so what is Ja Light?
Well, it depends on which group of people and consciousness you ask, but certainly Ja Light in some respect is God's light. It's certainly Ja in Rastafarian religion is God, and even in Jewish religion, Jah. And light obviously is light, and the whole idea of the refrain of the song that the boogeyman dancer's got no grief, shaking his body to his rhythm's beat. He's got no troubles because he pushed them aside, because right now he's jamming, dancing, rocking, raging in Jah Light. So no matter what's going on around you, there's some bigger presence, universal, spiritual presence guiding us. And
so Stephen, put me out of my suspense here. Are you going to sing it, play it, play back the recording?
I'm happy to play it. It's about a 4 or 5 minute song. I don't know if you want. I can certainly play some of it to get the idea.
Whatever you like. I mean,
play it on through. I'm happy to play the whole thing.
Stephen, it's your show. You've got Mel.
Oh, well, in that case, let me put it on and tell me if it sounds good.
Okay.
So this is me with the Wailers, some of the Wailers in the studio. This is on April 9th, 2017. And I'll just play it, and that's it. We'll hear it.
Stand up, he said, put a loaded gun to my head. Stand up and join in the dance, yeah. Stand up, I did. Took a loaded gun from his hand. You should know your right from your wrong, yeah. Looking at dancers, got no grief. Shaking the body to the rhythm's beat, yeah. Got no troubles, he pushed them aside. Cause right now we jamming, dancing, rocking, raging in Jah Light. Inside Jah Light, raging in Jah Light. Inside Jah Light, raging in Jah Light. Inside Jah Light, raging in Jah Light. Inside Jah Light. Everybody lives by individual resolution. And everyone's got their own personal constitution. You reap what you sow and sow what you pay. From the power within rise I up for the chase. From the power within rise I up for the chase. From the power within rise I up for the chase. Boogeyman dancers got no grief. Shaking his body to the rhythm's beat, yeah. and dance and rock and raging, raging in your life. Inside your life, raging in your life. Inside your life, raging in your life. Inside your life, raging in your life. Inside your life. And everyone lives by individual resolution. And everyone's got their own personal constitution. You reap what you sow and sow what you reap. From the power within, rise I up for the chase. From the power within, rise I up for the chase. From the power within, rise I up for the chase. Boogeyman dancers got no creed. Shaking his body to the rhythm's beat, yeah. Got no troubles, he pushed them aside. Right now we jam and dance a rock and raging, raging in your life. Inside your life, raging in your life. Inside your life, raging in your life. Inside your life, raging in your life. Inside your life.
I just have to point out the last part here.
Brilliant.
And I just said, did you get that?
Stephen, I can almost, sing it myself now.
Really?
No, but with a little practice.
It's
So-
it was a real treat just to hear that. And every time I listen to it and you hear their ability to just build it more and more, and the guitarist coming in with his soloing, it's just earth shattering for me to hear that and go, wow.
So who are the people on the wall behind you?
Well, that's just a photo of 3 different photos of Bob Marley, because it's one of my heroes as far as just music goes and ideology in some respects, humanity. So it's on the wall behind me. And what's really interesting about that song is when I wrote it, I was thinking about Bob Marley and the Wailers and this kind of reggae style that had that feeling, that roots feeling, and I couldn't be happier the way it came out. So it was really inspired by them. And
Recently you've spoken at our TEDx at Shankar College.
I did, which was thanks to you. Thank you for not pushing, but being a catalyst.
I didn't push, I pulled.
You pulled. So it's a good thing.
Of course, it's a great thing.
It really was.
A splendid talk. So we're nearing the end of the show. What did you tell my students? What do you tell the people? What's the message?
Hopefully you have some dreams and things that inspire you and are things that you're very passionate about. Whether you work doing it or not is irrelevant. But if you're not working doing it, certainly pursue it, even if it's a hobby, because one day it might be work, one day it might not, but as a hobby, it certainly brings fulfillment to embrace that. If you don't have something like that, or you have and it's faded away for many reasons that happen as we grow up and older and experience life, try to find it again. or something new, or revisit certain things that used to give you that feeling, and see if they tickle the brain cells and the membrane somewhere in your head and give you that feeling of your neurons firing and doing some good stuff. And that's it. Really just enjoy as much as you can the days, and doing the things you love to do as much as you can.
So, Stephen, before we end this wonderful conversation, and then continue our ongoing friendship of many years, I just want to acknowledge two people that brought us together: Yossi Vardi, who first told me about you, and Jeff Pulver. And Jeff always teaches people that if you don't ask, the answer is no. So, unfortunately for you, it took quite a life-changing and threatening experience to ask.
This is correct. I asked, but not as aggressively as maybe I could have. So,
Well, I mean, how many people get up in the morning and say, I should record one of my songs with the Wailers. I'll give them a call.
yeah, it'd be nice if I could do that more often, but we'll see. Slowly.
Well, Stephen, it's been great having you on You Got Mel.
Thank you so much, Mel.
I can't wait to see what your new dream is going to be. I want you to surprise me, and I hope that another 6 years from now, we will both be happy, healthy, and we'll be able to meet here, or actually maybe in a coffee house and hug each other like we used to.
Right? That's a whole topic for another discussion, right?
And yes, we don't talk about the virus on this show.
No.
And so let's make a date six years from now in that same coffee house on Jabotinsky.
It sounds great.
And you'll tell me what other dreams and mountains you have conquered and vanquished. So
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Stephen
Thank
Max
you so much,
Stern,
Mel. I
the
really
incredible,
appreciate
the miracle man, Stay healthy, my dear friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Mel.
My great pleasure.
We'll catch up soon.
Absolutely, we always do.
That's right. Bye.